What a week for Rivian. We got pretty good news about the company's production in the third quarter and what to expect for the fourth quarter. But there are now even more questions about the company's growth long term in a plant that it is planning to build in Georgia. Whether you're a shareholder or a reservation holder like I am, this is pretty big news for Rivian. So let's get into what happened. Before we get there, I do want to ask you to leave any thoughts that you have about Rivian below in the comment section. Give this video a like and of course subscribe to the Riiv Project for all of my coverage on disruptive companies and technologies throughout the world. As for Rivian, we got some pretty good news on the production side. They produced 7,363 vehicles in the third quarter of 2022, delivered 6,584 of those to customers, and management said that they were on target to build the 25,000 that they projected for the full year. Now that indicates a run rate of 10,683 vehicles in the fourth quarter. So continues the slow and steady ramp that we've seen in production. That means that production is going to be about 4x higher in the fourth quarter than it was in the first quarter, to just kind of put these numbers into context. The bad news is that a $5 billion plant in Georgia is a little bit more questionable than it was just a week ago when a judge struck down $1.5 billion in benefits that the company was going to get from state and local officials. Now, I do want to highlight that the package that they were getting from the state is $1.5 billion. In some of the reporting, the $5 billion number has been reported. That's actually the investment for the whole project. So I do want to highlight that it was not a $5 billion subsidy that they were getting from the state of Georgia and then local officials. It was actually $1.5 billion. I do think that is worth noting if you're keeping track of these things. Now, this deal was agreed to among the state and local officials, but it does have to go to a judge. And so that's actually where it got struck down. Rivian didn't make any comments this week about what they think they're going to do going forward. State officials did say that they thought they could deal with this and that they were pretty bullish on the project. But it wouldn't be surprising to see some changes to the structure of the $1.5 billion subsidy. Maybe the number goes down a little bit. Maybe the numbers get kind of shifted around. I do think it's safe to say that the Georgia plant that was projected to produce as many as 400,000 vehicles is probably going to be pushed back. We had heard that it may be in production, at least early phases of production, in 2024. So maybe that moves back to 2025 or 2026. But given the fact that Rivian is only going to produce 25,000 vehicles in 2022, that may not be a bad thing. We're heading into a recession. We're heading into higher interest rate environment. Putting off this production expansion, even if it's not the choice of Rivian, may actually be a good thing for the company. What's a little concerning is that both investors and reservation holders don't know exactly what the details are here. So Rivian will report earnings in a few weeks. Expect to hear more about the Georgia plant there, if they're going to move it to another location, if they're going to move forward there and try to figure out a different package. But what we do know is the $1.5 billion that state and local officials had committed to is really off the table right now, and they're kind of starting from scratch. As far as the full week goes, it's kind of a mixed bag for Rivian. I do think it's pretty positive to have those production numbers continue to steadily rise. The increase in production that you see into the fourth quarter of almost 11,000 vehicles seems pretty reasonable for a company like Rivian to be able to hit. Now, we're still a long ways from the pace of 150 to 200,000 vehicles that they said that they can make at that Normal, Illinois facility, but on the right track. So as a reservation holder, that makes me happy because theoretically I should get a vehicle sometime in 2023. On the production front, it is concerning to have those delays, but remember, Rivian does have $15 billion of cash on the balance sheet as of the end of the second quarter. So the company has a lot of runway. And if it can ramp its existing facility, start generating some cash there, maybe this would actually give the company a little bit more runway if the capital expenditures that are going to be expected for that Georgia plant are pushed back a little bit. But I know they do have some equipment already on order, so this throws a wrench in their expansion plan. What do you think about what's going on with their Georgia plant and the current rate of production? Leave a comment below, and like I said, hit that like button and subscribe to the Riiv Project. I'll be covering Rivian a lot because I think this is one of the most disruptive companies in the auto industry. It has a really interesting product and business model, and hopefully before long I'll be driving one myself. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again next time.